All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, and wow, is that it? That's it. Is that the entire bear market, huh? We're gonna take a look to see if it is. Bitcoin's looking really good. I, taken some great gains last week, and things are picking back up to, batting average is getting back to what it normally is. So let's dive in and see if this bear market is in fact over. Let's talk about, let me move these things down. I don't know why it does this sometimes. It's really annoying. Okay. So let's go over things that I did last week here. So gold, and if you guys recall, with gold, let's do. Gosh, this is insane. Gold's just insane. Wow, down. Okay, so if you recall, let's get rid of this, and I'll walk through everything. So if you recall, it was this day right here was the last time that I had made a video, or maybe this day. And I said, man, gold looks fantastic here, right at the 50-day moving average. But all the other times during this current market where I've gone after things on the 50-day moving average, it had failed. So I was going to give it, one more day. And if you see here, the stochastic was down here at 20. 50-day moving average was down here. Clear, obvious uptrend. So it met every single one of my criteria. But just because of the previous 5 months of things not working out, I wanted to give it one more day for it to work out. Previous 5 months, I don't know if that's quite true, but it seems like an eternity, right? I mean, really since December, to be honest, as you guys know if watching the videos. So I wanted to give it one day. Now I think I might have given it a day, and that day was really strong. And of course, the universe as well as markets have a sense of humor, right? So missed out on an entire day's gain, but that's okay. What I did is I placed those debit spreads of their May, so now we'll go over to GLD. May 23rd was the expiration. Yeah, so, either this day, or this day is when they were placed. Probably in here, honestly, I believe so. May 23rd, 292 on the long call, 302 on the short call, which is a little bit more sort of risky, I guess you would say, more out of the money. And the reason being is I wasn't going to hold these for a long period of time. And given this massive selling that I talked about, and the reason for this selling was collateral from institutional investors, hedge funds, that they had to make good on margin calls. That's what this was from. So anyways, so 393 is what I paid for those debit spreads. Sold them for 512, which is a 30% gain. I sold these on this day right here. And I'll show you why. And clearly you think, man, that's early, but look, gold has had the most insane bull market that I've seen from gold. So I'm not trying to get greedy in here, and especially during this particular market, I'm not trying to get greedy at all. I'm not trying to let it ride and see what happens, right? It's not the market for that. Clearly it was for gold, but hey, it is what it is. So here's how I decided to sell on that day. So Where is it? Oh no. Is it like this? Yeah. Yeah, so when I do the Fibonacci numbers, I do them real conservative. So this is how I was planning on getting out, right around here, 3,250, and that's exactly where I got out. And it was fantastic. And, a couple days later, rocketed higher, and I just wasn't quite paying attention. I probably would have gone after that again just for another quick move. But regardless, 30% gain, that's awesome. Then with China. FXI, I can't recall if I told you guys that I had gotten into these or not. I think it was like this day, maybe, I got into them. And just playing a mean reversion type play. And I saw some other guys that had fantastic weeks with some mean reversion plays. And, I typically, that's not a strategy of mine. That's not a style at all. But, when things get very extreme, you're going to fade that sentiment. And that's what I was talking about in those videos a week or 2 weeks ago. Is you want to fade real extreme sentiment. And that's what I did with FXI. I was adding to these on the way down, which again, I never do really. I essentially don't do that. But again, these are such extreme conditions. I was pretty close to asymmetric. I mean, not quite, but So I had no problem doing that for this one. Those were May 16 was the expiration. $2.20 is what I paid for those. Oh, $31 strike price. May 16 is expiration, $31 strike price. $2.20 is what I paid for those. $2.82 is what I sold those for. So that was a gain of 28%. Again, I think this was last week when I closed these out. And cool. Yeah, that was awesome. That worked out great. Got a little bit dicey. But again, like I said, we're so far away from average where you have to go after something like that. There's a saying that goes, if there's one superpower in financial markets, it is mean reversion. And kind of generally accepted mean reversion and without doing math is the 21-day moving average. So take that. All right, copper. This one had gotten dicey. Copper got really dicey. I stuck with this again, sort of same concept where I thought, if I'm not selling out of the China position, why would I sell out of the copper position? And so I continued to add to it. So that was May 16th was the expiration, $29 strike price. They're in here. This is a less liquid options market, so we're not that heavy, and we weren't that heavy into these. But anyways, May 16 is the expiration, $29 strike price, $1.09. I didn't write what I sold it for. Oh shoot. Anyways, those worked out. Who cares? Moving on. All right, going over to corn. What a banger of a play corn was. We were in these all through here, and adding. I had a few, futures trades in here that I got out too early, but you live and learn. Had an equity position in this and corn. 1856 got out at 1963, so a little over $1 on that, which is nice given what the market had been doing. I essentially was in nothing, so it's not like that money was being tied up and taking money away from a different trade that I could have placed, because that wasn't the case. There wasn't really anything going on, and so shoot, man, a buck in that market at the current time was very welcomed success. Couple futures trades, like I said, and now corn. We'll see how this pulls back, how this acts around the 50-day moving average. It would be awesome for this to kind of break down below it and kind of come back up. And I'll go after this again. I mean, shoot, corn is in a sort of uptrend here. And yeah, like I said, that would be awesome. Corn is essentially the first thing where I really cut my teeth with trading futures, and way back here, back when, Russia invaded Ukraine, and yeah, so that really got me hooked on futures trading. So anyway, some sentimental value here with this. So it was awesome to get a nice good gain out of corn again. And like I said, I'll certainly be going after this again. We'll see how it acts around 470. I would love for it to go below 470, come back up, get above 50-day moving average again, and go after it. So those are all the positions that I had. So again, every single one of those were winners, and it's nice because we're getting back to regular batting average. So now, okay, let's see what else. Let's just jump right into it. So Bitcoin, you guys, if this is not screaming the most insane strength, then I don't know what is. Clearly it's sort of extended here, and you would think, well, from like this point all the way to 100, there's resistance. But this is wild. So, I mean, the fact that, actually, Forger Destiny, so the fact that there's strength in Bitcoin like this makes me think that the bear market in equities is in fact over. I mean, this is insane. And look for Bitcoin to just rip if equities continue to turn up. This is crazy. So, over this 50-day moving average here, I mean, so Bitcoin looks great. I mean, it's back above the 200-day moving average on the spot, Bitcoin chart. So clearly things look different, but whatever. I found, well, whatever. They both sort of work for technical analysis. People get into analysis paralysis. It's like, does this look good? Yeah, okay, cool. It's a Bitcoin chart. You just go after it. You know what I mean? But I do certainly pay attention to spot Bitcoin. But look at this rebound. I mean, this is nuts. Oh, that's on a monthly chart. Well, still, that's not weekly. Look at this. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. You have to go after this. You have to go after this. So in the brokerage account, we have a position in MicroStrategy that was initiated today at $330. So this was a really good day, like 8%, maybe that's, yeah. So basically, 8% is for the day in this position. MicroStrategy. So I have a taxable account. I have a position in this as well as the non-taxable account. And just a starter position, so a third of the size. I always tell myself to do quarters, but I just never do. I just do a third of the size. So I got a third of the size on right now, and I will be adding to this when this meets more of my criteria. Given the strength in Bitcoin, I had to go after this. This doesn't meet 100% of my criteria, but rarely are things like 100%, right? Actually, that's not true. I don't really have much criteria. I have, probably 4 or 5 things. So really, really not a lot. Is it in an uptrend? Has it pulled back? A good risk to reward? Some sort of consolidation, and the overall macro regime. And so that's basically it. Yeah, so I don't really have Stochastic down to 20. I don't really have. So, investing and trading, keeping things simple is the way that I find the most success. So, anyways, like I said, this looks fantastic. I'll add to this, and since we're on to Bitcoin, oh my gosh, it's up $10 after hours. Gosh, man, yeah. So I mean, that's fantastic. Good for Michael Saylor. Okay. So since we're on Bitcoin now, that's okay. So that's all the positions. That's it. Let's go over, since we're on Bitcoin. Let's go over so MicroStrategy. Let's go over some Bitcoin miners. I think they had huge, massive days, and that's really good to see. We really need to see Bitcoin miners rocking and rolling. They provide security for the network. So, yeah. CleanSpark. Rocking and rolling. Big volume. That's awesome. Let's look at Riot, and we'll look at the market's favorite, Hut 8. Whoa. Yeah. Well, whatever. Good volume. Nice strong day. Okay, so that's it. Let's go over now indexes. We'll hit sectors, and we'll look at what indexes. We'll hit Mag 7 and then sectors, and call it a night. So NASDAQ here, I mean, is this downtrend gonna get broken? It very well could. I mean, shoot, I don't have a position in indexes, although I'm getting very close to doing that. I've been doing intraday trades with NASDAQ and my beloved Dow, right? You do what you can in this market, and it's been fantastic recently. So, I mean, shoot, you guys, this is below the 200-day moving average, so you have to treat it as such. Let's look at this on a weekly chart. Yeah, just, you guys, if this could close, maybe the week above 1900, that would be wild. Let's go over to Dow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, awesome. Let's look at SPY here. It's weekly. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Good strength. Is this going to continue? We have yet to see. But the fact that Bitcoin is showing all this strength, I mean, gives me more confidence that this might have been it. I mean, I would be shocked, but hey, all sorts of crazy stuff is happening. All sorts of crazy stuff has been happening since the previous bear market, where bonds had their worst performance ever. The US dollar was a safe haven. Now the US dollar is getting dumped. Right? So that's the importance of strong opinions held loosely with trading. Not to just solely focus on models, right? That's what burned Bridgewater in 2022 big time, because their model said go after bonds, and they got wrecked as a result of doing that. All right, let's look at Russell. Yeah, wow, geez. Man, let's see the previous kind of like bear market rallies. I mean, they were nothing like this at all. Gosh, man, yeah, see, this was brutal. This has been brutal. Was this going to turn into like a COVID rebound? Oh my gosh, what if it does? It's looking sort of similar, huh? All right. So that's that. Now let's go over some Mag 7. We'll start with Microsoft, everyone's beloved company, Microsoft. Let's see here. But, well, you know, stochastic down here. I don't know. Maybe indexes have some room to run. Again, you guys, I'm not a single stock guy. You don't need to be a single stock guy to beat markets. So why bother, really? Well, I guess I'm in a single stock MicroStrategy. But, you know, that's Bitcoin play. It's slightly different, right? Yeah, I don't know. Apple. Yeah. Really nice rebound for this gap fill we talked about. I mean, shoot, there's a whole nother gap to fill up here. You guys, I mean, there's still lots of gaps to fill on the upside. So I want to get like so carried away. Let's look at Meta. Wow. Yeah, I mean, shoot, we could use 500 as risk reward there. Meta, yeah, Amazon. I'm really curious how Tesla's been doing. Let's remove this drawing. Yeah, you know, I've had some good trades with Amazon this past year, which is a little bit abnormal for me. Amazon has never ever met my eye. It doesn't ever really make sense to me how the chart patterns are, except for back here. But recent memories, so since like 2020 or so. Yeah. So for the last few years, it's been really strange to me. Anyways, okay. Let's look at Netflix. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is over the bear market. I mean, Netflix looks like fantastic. You know, I mean, you want to talk about strength. This has made a new all-time high today. You know, gave it up, but shoot. All right. You know what? Let's see how AMD is looking. Trash. It's like a Taiwan Semiconductor. Terrible. All right. Let's look at Donald Trump's thing. I don't know. All right. So that's it for Mag 7. No, it's not it. Tesla. I don't know. Nothing to do. Let's see this on a weekly chart. Yeah, I don't have an opinion. Is this a bear flag like this? Is this a bear flag? Time will tell. Nah, I don't have an opinion on this one. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go over some indexes. Let's look at financial services. Dang, is this bear market in fact over? Wild, huh? JP Morgan. Wow, JP Morgan above the 200-day moving average. So there's certainly stocks that have all sorts of strength. Wells Fargo. Let's look at Bank of America. All right, so let's look at industrials. We'll look at materials. Nothing to do. Materials. Wow, cool. This looks a little bit better, but you know, nothing to do. Not going after it. So whatever. Biotech. Geez, man, are these really all forming bottoming patterns? That's pretty wild. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. All right, XLV. Man, what is this bull? Bear market over. You know, so the average bear market, if we are not in a recession, was 20 to 25% or so. in the S&P and we hit 20, or maybe it was like the 15 to 25, something along those lines, and we hit around 20. So all right, let's look at real estate. Oh shoot, we gotta look at bonds while we're at it. Yeah, I don't know. There's no trade for me. For me, there's nothing here. There's no trade. There's definitely no trade here with bonds. Wow, this is a little not good. Yeah, this is really not good. This is certainly something to watch. Bonds cannot be selling off this hard. Let's look at the dollar. And the dollar, I think, has just been crashing. Yeah, and that has a lot to do with gold's strength as well as Bitcoin strength. All right, let's look at utilities. Yeah, I mean, these are looking pretty good, holding up pretty nicely, huh? Utilities will probably be something I'll go after. Same with communications, although now I changed my mind. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, shoot, the plan for tomorrow, we're going to just keep watching corn. Let's look at Berkshire Hathaway. And yeah, I don't know. And then, if the downtrend is broken in the Qs, it can close above here. One of the days has a really strong day above here, then I'll go after this for a swing trade, and maybe hold it up to, wherever this 50-day moving average is coming down to. So, I don't know, maybe here, maybe here. And that's it, you guys. So anyways, we'll catch you all later.